happy bye week. Happy bye week. Like I said, Terrence, how you feeling?
I mean, yeah, if you tune into the episode on Wednesday, obviously there's like one or two things for us to feel good about going into the bye week. But, I mean, yeah, the bye week is here. Chance for players to rest up, take care of any injuries that they may have, enjoy the time with your family, do whatever the fuck you got to do, but come back in, lock the fuck in. We still got a lot of season left. I mean, we're 0-6, so me personally, I don't really expect that much out of us going forward. I would just like to see improvement from the guys that we're going to have here, which we don't know who that'll be as of right now. I mean, we just know Bryce Young at the moment.
Everybody is for sale.
Yeah, it's a lot of niggas up in the fucking air. So, yeah, I just want to see steady improvement. And, yeah, see what we can do to build off of into next year. I'm not in the next year mode, but I done got content with the fact that, we're not going to make the playoffs. JJ Fields, he's not saying playoffs, but he has a change in the.
Yeah, I'm not saying playoffs, but I think that this team will look significantly different when we come out of the bye.
Yeah, and I mean, I certainly hope so, but nothing to this point makes me feel like that's going to happen, especially if we lose the players who we think we could potentially lose going forward. So, yeah.
Very true. How you feeling?
I feel like it's time to do some soul searching. Who the fuck wants to be here, and who the fuck wants their family to starve? Right, because ultimately that's where that's what's going on here.
That's one way to put it.
Because some of y'all are about to lose your
some of y'all
are about to lose your fucking jobs.
Yeah,
some of y'all are about to lose your fucking jobs, and I hope you know that because you've been playing like some complete bullshit from the start of the season all the way up to this point. We're entering the bye. It's a great time to sit back, look at some film, and watch who's giving half-ass, piss-poor effort. Because quite frankly, there's not enough draft capital on this team to do anything this upcoming year. So somebody has to get moved so we can acquire some capital and improve this football team because you're not getting the job done. So I hope you do enjoy this bye week.
Well, and that's coming from a non-Panthers fan. I couldn't have said it better myself, actually. I'm actually thrilled that you opened the way that you did. Because you're absolutely right. I'll be 100% honest with you. Now, we have a couple of different directions that we'll go with this episode. We're trying to keep it as time-sensitive as possible. I currently have 16 minutes on my clock, looking at closer to 17. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I promise, Tavian, we're going to try our best. I promise. We're going to try our best.
As long as Zaxby's still open, I'm good.
Let's go to Zaxby's. Let's go to dinner. Yeah? Now?
Yeah.
Zaxby's closed as early as fuck, I thought.
Yeah, and that Zaxby's on whatchamacallit is mud.
The one on Miami?
Yeah.
Let's just find somewhere different.
All right, we'll talk about it.
We can go to Chipotle for all I give a fuck. This is not a sponsor. I mean, this is not a fucking plug either. We not going to none of them restaurants. Y'all bitch ass niggas got to pay us. Fuck that. But no, I am glad that you opened the way that you did because I guess that this is the way we'll start. There have been a couple of names that have been thrown around in the rumor mill as it pertains to the Carolina Panthers. 2 weeks ago, it seemed as though we were going to be in a get Bryce Young a wide receiver one mode. After the Detroit game, it seemed as though that energy kind of switched to this team could potentially be looking to sell. This is something that I hinted at probably week 3. Just when I looked at the trajectory of the way things were going, and then I looked at the whole Brian Burns situation and everything, I kind of hinted at this, and I kind of tried to lead y'all on to let y'all know that this could be a situation that we were looking at the bye week, 2 weeks away from the trade deadline, and you're winless. So some of the names, and kind of how I want to play it is I'll say the names, and y'all just kind of give me feedback. Just kind of, some of the rumors that y'all have been seeing, just give me feedback. Let me know what y'all are feeling like. Some of the main names, some of the bigger names that we've been seeing, Jeremy Chin has been one of those names that has been very, very loud and very, very large based on the fact that there were rumors last week before the Miami game that Jeremy Chin could be potentially moved based on the fact that Philadelphia was making phone calls inquiring about him. Then we see that he only plays, 18% of the snaps against Miami? Or 30-something percent?
Yeah, 39% and then 18 the previous week.
Sure. So, I mean, you look at that name, obviously the contract dispute with Brian Burns that has been an issue. We tried to tell you guys this damn near a year ago, and I'm sorry if you guys haven't been here that long, but thank you for being with us if you're new. But we tried to tell you guys damn near a year ago that there could be a chance that we got to this point in the whole Brian Burns debacle where we were potentially looking at having to move him. Now, after after the Rams offered 2 first-round picks and we turned it down, me and Terrence were under the belief that he would get his money, but it hasn't occurred yet. 6 weeks into the season, we know how everything played out in training camp. Dante Jackson is another one of those names that has been shopped around. Now, if you ask me, I don't know what team is willing to take a chance on this guy. I think that even as, I'll call myself a casual just for the sake of the conversation. Just as a casual in comparison to fucking NFL scouts, GMs, and everybody else, NFL personnel in general, as a casual, I can see that Dante Jackson has lost a step and just simply looks as though he doesn't have it anymore. So I don't know really what team would be willing to take a chance on him. Maybe if the price is right, they'll jump out the window and try and go get him. And I feel like I'm missing one. I said BB. And Terrace Marshall Jr. That was another one. That was another name that has surfaced, and there's been a lot of talks in regards to us potentially moving on from him for a second or third round pick. Again, like Tavian hinted at, trying to regain some of that draft capital that we gave up to Chicago in order to move up to the number 1 pick this season to get Bryce Young. So, all of that being said, how are y'all feeling about these rumors? How, who makes the most sense, bless you, who makes the most sense to move on from at this point? How are y'all feeling? How just in general, with the trade deadline right around the corner with some of these names that we're seeing, what are y'all thinking? How are y'all feeling? And where do we go?
Yeah, so I'll say what I've been hearing, what I've been seeing, what makes the most sense. So Brian Burns makes the most sense. That's what's going to get you the most bang for your buck. You need draft capital. He's going to bring in the most draft capital. And we see that, obviously, we didn't pay him in the offseason. We stopped contract talks before week 1. We've seen the way he's been playing, and he has the talent, but he's been playing like he doesn't want to be here. We can sense that. The fan base can sense that. I've seen CBS come out with some predictions. Latest prediction, they predict he'll be traded to Baltimore for a first and a third. Obviously, you're not going to get those 2 first rounds that that the Rams offered you last year. Being that, I mean, he had off-season surgery, but I still think after that he came back and still looked elite. But I think now you just don't see that same play, mainly because he doesn't want to be here. So I think that'll make the most sense. I don't want to see Brian Burns go. Huge BB fan, been vocal about him for the past couple of years. But we're in the business to where we need to win football games. We're in the results business. And that's not a knock on Brian Burns. It's not necessarily his fault we're not winning football games. It's a team effort. And the way we're looking at it is, with this current roster we have, we can't win any football games. So we need some draft capital to go and try to figure something out for next year. So that makes the most sense in that situation. As you know, the Eagles have called about Jeremy Chin, and that was something else that is like, if you don't move Brian Burns, the other person who can get you some draft capital will be Jeremy Chin. Obviously, he won't bring in the same type of draft capital as Brian Burns, but if you needed something for next year, then he'll be a guy that will be valuable that you could move. the reason that I think we're off the wide receiver, because I think they realize it's a lot more deeper than that. Also, they were in talks about Jerry Jeudy. If you watch the broadcast when the Broncos played the Chiefs, I mean, Smitty completely annihilated Jerry Jeudy on fucking national TV. And he straight up said, when teams call and ask, or when they ask about you, I'm going to say no. So I automatically assume he was talking about us, since
there's no other assumption to be made.
Yeah.
It's been vocalized on multiple occasions that David Tepper and Steve Smith have a solid relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And David Tepper does go to Steve Smith when he asks questions specifically about wide receivers. David Tepper went to Steve Smith about Jonathan Mingo.
Yeah.